What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. This is Ignorant Shit Only Podcast number 16. I am with my co-host, Kuya Flip.
What up, baby?
And we are with the man of the hour for this episode, Mr. Bruno Rolls.
What's happening?
Camera says, what's something wrong with the camera? It's tweaking.
No,
What's happening?
The one to the left. There you go.
I
There we
think
go.
this backdrop is pretty dope. I like this.
Thank you.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you.
What is
Shout
this
out to
behind me?
those.
What is this?
So there's the guys that run this spot.
Room called Zootcast.
Yep.
Zootcast?
And that's their
That's
one
their
of their
logo in the
yeah.
back.
An alien flipping the middle finger. I love it.
While smoking
I
a
love
J.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta love the American dream, right?
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you, though, first of all, bro, for coming on here. Yeah, I mean, I noticed that you're like one of the few guests that definitely is like used to doing interviews.
Yeah.
I think there were, when I was on YouTube watching learn about you and stuff, there was like at least 4 of them that was on YouTube. So like you're like one of the few guests that actually is used to being on camera is what I'm getting.
Yeah, hopefully we can find something new to talk about. Actually, new stuff is always happening. Like with me, it seems like there's always something new happening. But I enjoyed coming onto your podcast. We've been friends for a while now, and so
Yes,
shout out to Lumpies, like bringing us all together. So.
Yes,
sir.
one thing I did forget to mention, this episode is sponsored by Lumpies, which is why I am wearing this sweater, which is why there is product on the table. So shout out to Lumpies, shout out to everyone over there at Lumpies, great product, great stuff. I personally don't smoke, but yeah, he's a part of it, so it's great.
I'm high right now.
Right, exactly. And overweight. Yes, we are thankful for your time, man. Appreciate you for coming on. And let's get it started, shall we? One thing I was thinking about that had nothing to do with researching you, just like I've noticed in like a lot of aspects of life that I thought would be interesting to ask you is like, how do you feel about in general, and it could be any field, even in your own field, like people who gatekeep? Like, can you share your thoughts on people who do live their life like that?
So gatekeeping, as in like keeping the information for themselves.
And only letting them benefit themselves, or even if it's like I don't know, if a person like it's just like looking for advice, or like for example, you're a roller, obviously.
Yeah.
If someone was to come up to you and be like, "Hey, man, I want to do what you do. Can you give me like some great pointers to help me get started?" There's some motherfuckers who are like purposely not gonna give the good information. They might give you a little snippet of something. Yeah. But they're not going to give you that good information that can really help them get going. Yeah. So can you give your thoughts on people who are like that?
So I think that because my inbox is filled with people asking for advice or help on getting started in the rolling industry, and for years I've just been trying to be as helpful as I can, giving like little tidbits of information and like, I guess, advice on how to help their roles improve. Like they'll send me pictures of their roles, and then I'll be like, oh, well, if you try this, or why don't you send me a video of you like rolling the joint, and then maybe we can see like what's going wrong. Because I think that helping other people in this industry is really important, because if we can help each other just do better, I think that it helps bring up like the reputation of other rollers, and I think that's really important. But as like keeping information from others, there are a lot of maybe for growers, for instance, like they'll keep like certain recipes like real close to the chest. If there's techniques or like different ratios that people are using in like the rolling world, we don't really keep it to ourselves. Like, hey, we post it right there on the story. Like, hey, we're using a 1 times 0.3, or we're doing a 2 times 0.5. And it's kind of also just like showing off, like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. So gatekeeping, I don't know, unless it's stocks or something like that. Like, I don't think you really need to be doing that in the rolling industry. We're here to help. We just want to get high.
Absolutely.
Hell
Yeah.
One thing, the next question, my friend, is it's a 2-parter. So can you share one thing you love and one thing you hate about the cannabis industry?
One thing I love about the cannabis community is that part, the community. Being a part of something it just makes you feel like you have a purpose. Like why you're here. Like even if it's just something as simple as like I defoliate the leaves at Lumpies. Like if I'm just like I'm one cog in the big machine, being a part of that, just knowing that you had a single a hand in helping that product is pretty cool. Man, I already forgot the question. I'm pretty stoned after that. Like, that was a good joint.
Yeah, I know that.
No, it's all good. And then like the one thing you would hate about like the negative thing, I guess, about the cannabis industry.
A negative thing about the cannabis industry.
Yeah, aside from taxes.
The greed, the race to the bottom, when people in our industry want to make a good product and they do really well, those are the brands that are still around. Like the brands that are putting out like solid products and actually like put effort into their work, such as like Lumpies, or let's just say like, you know, like Cam has been doing like a lot of big things, or Blueprint and things like those brands. They're really putting in like a lot of effort, and I think that like the bad part about it is that there's other brands that are just racing to the bottom. They want to have the cheapest product. They want to put in shake in their joints. They want to use, you know, just subpar material, and they want to get like distillate in their on their joints, or instead of using like a rosin or like a live resin or something just a little bit better. I think that what I don't like about the cannabis industry is that people want to do things cheaper instead of better.
I think that goes for a lot of things, like especially that's something that's mass produced.
Yeah.
A lot of companies tend to try to, like you said, go the cheapest way possible for maximum profits, which is unfair, because people tend to respect better product rather than just, you know, I mean, oh, I can get 20 of the same thing. Like, I'd rather make sure there's 10 great things than 20 of the same shit, and it's not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are still people out there who for sure will go, I want quantity over quality.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I think most.
I think that's the market they're probably after. Is
and that's the thing, though, is that because the only reason that they are doing this is because the market is asking for it. The customers are asking for it. The people that are doing like the most in sales are they went to the bottom, and they're there and they're winning. Like they're selling millions of dollars worth of these pre-rolls like a month, like millions of dollars worth of pre-rolls in a month, and it's just like the black ash, even like it's not even that great, and they're still making a ton because it's $1, you know. Like if you can sell a joint for $1, like damn, that's tough to beat. Like that's tough to beat. And so, you know, if they're gonna go that low, it's like, whatever.
So to kind of touch on your background, bro, when you were growing up, on one of the episodes I watched, you had mentioned you were sponsored by Razor Scooters. Can you kind of touch on like how that happened, and like what time period was this for you?
Yes. So Razor Scooters, gosh, I don't remember how old I was. It was maybe year 1999, 2000, and Razor Scooters had just came out, and there was going to be a competition at the Orange County Fairgrounds in like I don't know. I don't remember how long exactly it was. But so I started practicing. Like I got me a scooter and I started practicing. And I went to this the very first like Razor scooter competition, and I won like a bunch of the contests, and I got like second place like overall. I was like super excited about this. Hooked up with the trophy girl.
Hey, there you go.
there you go.
It was that was pretty cool. And then after that, like a bunch of the people that were there got like asked like, hey, what's up? Like, you guys want to like give us some free scooters? You shoot some content for us, and not in like a pervy way. They really wanted us to just do like skateboard tricks and shit, and like on like scooters. And so jump off some stairs, like grind these, like can you grind a rail, like things like that. And so once they started giving us some scooters, and we had our own cameras, and we were filming stuff and going to skate parks together, they invited us to a movie shoot. It was actually going to be supposedly a Disney movie that they were shooting.
That sounds like about right.
And it was called,
yeah, that sounds about right.
It was called Razor Sharp, is what they were telling us, right? And I was like one of the the characters in this movie, where you were just like, this kid had to like win this scooter competition to get money to build like a second room for his foster brother, some nonsense story, right?
Yeah.
And then I was just like contestant number 3 or something like that, and I was also in the crowd cheering for me in the back, because like when they were filming both those, like, you know, kids.
How old were you around this time, by the way?
I was like 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you really good at like scootering?
I'm really good at scooters.
What?
Yeah.
Good shit. Like
Yeah.
even now?
Yeah, even
if you
now.
hopped on one?
Yeah, if I hopped on one, I could probably stay.
That's wild. Good shit.
Yeah.
Are you street doing it, or are you like doing the vert shit too?
Well, I lived in Anaheim for a long time, so when this was going on, it was Anaheim, and
Okay.
my backyard was Chaparral Skate Park, and so like I jump a wall and I'm at a skate park. Basically.
Oh damn, good shit.
And so I grew up like with a bunch of skateboarders, and they were doing like big 3-stairs, and like I mean the 3-stair at Chaparral Park is gigantic because those 3 stairs are basically seating for the baseball diamond, and so it's like you have to jump all the way down to like the bottom. It was I would grew up around a bunch of people that would just like push me like, hey, go further, you should go bigger, go harder, like you should just like see if you can jump that stair set or like jump off this roof, like and I had a great time doing it, and I wish I still had that content, you know, from back then. Like I was the first person to do a double tail whip on like on flat ground, like for a razor. And then my buddy got onto Guinness Book of World Records, the TV show, doing a backflip. Like, yeah, they said like, oh yeah, it's like the world's first backflip. When we were doing backflips like months before that, and so like, but they just wanted to put it on like film. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's dope though, man. So obviously in your line of work, weed is universal. So everyone basically smokes at this point in time, unless you're in a country that's willing to like kill you for, smoking weed or whatever.
I smoked in those countries too.
Hey, you're a thug for that. Absolutely. So where would you say weed has taken you in terms of outside of the U.S.? Like, what other countries and places around the world has it taken you to?
So because of cannabis, I have been able to travel to like Korea, Japan, Cuba, Amsterdam, Copenhagen.
Castro believed in weed.
Cuba is just amazing. It was only because of weed that I was able to go there. I didn't do anything with weed there besides I learned a lot of the cigar tech when I was there. I was in Vinales. Well, it's a beautiful place, and they have a lot of tobacco, like huts and places like that. And so when I was over there, there's this picture of me like long time ago, just like trying to like empty out a cart, like a vape cart that I had brought over, and like onto like a cigarette, just to try and get some like the very last remnants of THC that I could find that I brought with me. And man, Cuba, it does not have any flower. I don't know if maybe it was just me, but they have not good flower. I wasn't able to find anything that was like good at all. Like I think that they're more like drinkers. I assume that they smoke cannabis in Cuba, but if there's any Cubans out there and you guys smoke, please let me know. I want to know how it is. You guys are down with smoking? I don't know, but I didn't get to smoke any. I didn't get to smoke any good weed, and they say it's very illegal there, is what I was told, and that it's not good.
So you didn't happen to like take a picture of yourself smoking a J in Cuba just so you can say, I smoked in fucking Cuba?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I do have a picture of me like standing like above this like it's like this whole valley, and I'm standing there I was working at People's Remedy at the time, like a dispensary, and I'm holding up like stizzy carts and like that I had brought over there, and like this joint, just like shitty joint. At this time when I was in Cuba, I was not a professional joint roller, so like just having that one joint was like a pretty big deal in Cuba.
Hell yeah, bro.
I think
it's a life sentence.
Oh, you think that's bad? The signs that they have in Singapore.
Yep.
It straight up says, "We will shoot you." Mm-hmm. Like they say that. They say there's a sign. We do not care about your nationality. Like you will get we will
blasted.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I was all like, God damn it, I really wish I knew about that sign before I got off this plane. Because there's a security guard there, like that. When you're getting out of this plane, it's very small. Like it's not a very large airport. When I'm exiting, and then they're basically like left or right. And if you go right, you're getting your bag checked and everything. Like I seen like a bunch of people, like a lot of agents over there just checking people's bags, and then they sent me and Unji to the left. We went along our way and had a great time.
That's fucking, bro. That's clutch.
Yeah. That's some shit like, bro, heart racing until he points to the left.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, that's pretty scary. But then Bali, oh, beautiful. The only place that I recommend to anybody if they're going to travel is Bali. If you're going to go anywhere, go to Bali. You live like a king for $500. It's amazing. Like,
Oh hell yeah.
yeah, you can get a whole villa. We had like this villa that came with like a cook that would come, like, and there was like a massage person that would just like show up, and it came with a driver, and it was like $250 a night.
No way.
You bought a village? No.
It was like a big 3-story house like that you can just
Damn.
like, and
With a driver, a
a
cook?
driver, a cook. The cook only came once for dinner.
Oh, for dinner?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Well,
still lit, though,
yeah.
for $250?
Oh my gosh! When I show you the pictures of this place, okay, so one of the dinners, we had it upstairs, like on like the roof, because there was like a area that you could have dinner set up there, and they put out like rose petals and like it was like a whole scene from like a movie. We're like overlooking everything. Oh my God, Bali! Please go to Bali. Like, it's beautiful. You'll thank me. Trust me.
Passport bros, go to Bali.
Go to Bali.
So as I was, doing my research and whatnot, there was one part in an interview, and I had to pause it, and I had to go back just to confirm what I heard you mentioned. Please explain and share with the audience your experience as working as a film editor for porno films. Please talk to us about that, my guy, because I knew as soon as I heard that, I was like, this got to be a segment right now.
This is the one.
All right, shout out Johnny. So my buddy Johnny, he got me this job at ATMLA, and ATMLA is Adult Talent Managers Los Angeles. And ATMLA is owned by this amazing guy named Mark, and Mark is the world's largest pimp, in my opinion. I don't want to I can't
A
say
pimp named Mark.
I can't say that because he's not like, it's not like, I don't know what the definition of pimp is, but I'm pretty sure that he fits the definition because he is the owner of a talent agency that makes, adult films.
Yeah.
And so people have to contact his company to get girls to go to these.
For
these
surely a
shoots.
pimp thing.
Yeah.
Didn't say that, but yeah. And so me and Johnny, we had this office building in Lake Forest, California, and we would sit in this office at our computers, and basically we would get all of the hard drives and all of the tapes from these shoots. And so they would have stills like from the photo shoots, and then like video from like the whole like filming of the thing, including the directors talking, the actors talking before.
Oh, so the whole thing, the
whole
raw
thing,
footage.
all the raw footage.
Got
and
you.
so there's some hilarious stuff that nobody ever gets to see while filming like these types of adult films. That me and Johnny, we would just be laughing our ass off, like, because we have to like edit this stuff, and like they're like talking about like smoking weed and like pretending to make their cum faces, they're like practicing like what it was gonna look like so that they could get like the camera like focused on that one spot. So like we're like having to watch all this stuff. It really kind of kills it when you like know like these actors are like, it's like these guys are fucking hilarious. They're and so we would sit in an office, just me and him, and we would just be sitting at computers doing Photoshop, and I would do all the photos and he would do all the videos, and it's basically just editing and picking like the best photos from their shoots, and then sizing them up so that we can add them to the websites. So we would add them to like the individual artist's website, and then like the different like websites that would carry the videos and pictures and things like that. And so we just had to resize them. It's not as like a fun job as like people make it out to be. Sure, like the girls would like, some of the girls that were living further south, like in San Diego area, didn't want to drive all the way to LA, and so they would meet us in Lake Forest to pick up their checks when Mark was in town. And so when Mark was in town, that's great. He'd always buy us lunch.
Yeah.
And bring in some girl and be like, "Hey guys, what do you guys think about this girl's tits?" And we'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what?
just try to keep our heads down, like just do our job,
Hey, technically, I don't think Mark is like a pimp. You know what I mean? But the only difference between him and like other pimps is he pay taxes.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But there's a saying as old as the Bible: "I think pimp, therefore I am."
So there's got to be a follow-up question to this. What was the most wildest shit, at least that you can recollect, that you saw when you were editing and going through photos? Like, there was like one thing that permanently stained your brain.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one probably did it. We were editing some home footage from one of the artists. She's not around anymore. We'll just call her Bree. And there was this thing that she was doing. Like, it was at a party, so it was like everybody was just like normal clothes, everything like that. And there was like a bet that she couldn't like get this other guy like erect or whatever. And then so when you don't see anything, but when it finally does, she punches him right in the dick, like so hard. Like, it was hilarious.
Oh fuck!
Like, it was part of the bet. And when we edited that, we rewound that probably like a dozen times. It was like,
dick punch.
Could you imagine being so scared that you know that that's about to happen to you? Like, if anything even moves, you are gonna get punched in the dick, like so hard. Yeah, I'd be scared. I'd be scared too. I wouldn't have taken that bet.
Hell no, I wouldn't have taken that bet.
No, bro.
Like, yeah. So yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. Oh my
He's getting
god.
Vietnam flashbacks right now because
Oh my god, yeah. You said what stained his brain. That's the first thing that came up.
Yeah, is it punched in the...
That's what I was looking for. That reaction.
Oh my god,
That's
bro.
what I was looking for.
That's fucking funny.
So as we were talking about before we started recording,
Shake that off.
you're not gonna brush past this. So as we were talking outside before we started recording, there was an Asian country that you don't want to name that you were quote unquote somewhat held hostage to a degree. To a degree. But here's what I'm about to get to though. So when you had left with that person to South America so that you could leave, right? Ever since you left with that person, I know you had mentioned you hadn't seen them since then, but have you kept in touch with that girl that you left that country with? And you know what I mean?
Oh, we got married. Yeah. We got married, and when we got back to the States, and then we just got divorced this last year in April.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, we didn't. It's like 420. It was the 420. There was a 20-pound blunt that me and Hapa and like a bunch of my friends and Tommy Chong, a hero, was down in L.A. And I was having a great time with my friends. Tommy Chong, I got pictures with him. He signed my thing.
Good shit.
One of the best days of my life. Well, wife was very sick of me going on these trips, having a great time without her. She doesn't like weed. And then, so I got a message about like 2 a.m. that was over. But thanks for bringing that up.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Damn, bro.
I was trying to, because when you had mentioned that in that one interview, you were talking about how you left the country with her, and like you didn't really give any follow up to that. So I'm like, did you ever talk to her again? Or, did you ever see her again? So I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we got married, and She doesn't like really cannabis anymore, so or me, so what are you gonna do?
Hey, it's all good, bro. I got a big mom. I feel you.
Yeah.
So on a more lighthearted note, obviously, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode is sponsored by Lumpies. So shout out Lumpies.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with Lumpies?
I am a big fan of Lumpies. One of my best friends works at Lumpies. Shout out Marcus. Yeah, so like I got like a real good friend that it works over there, and have always been a big fan of like the employees that work over at Lumpies. I was hanging out there a lot, and I got to go to a lot of the Lumpies parties, and I go to the Lumpies California's Finest events, and I win trophies at those ones, and I've got to know the people that work at Lumpies. And so I think that I'm more of a fan of the people that make up the whole brand of Lumpies. Everybody like that's over there. I know that there's some people that are working in the like knockbox room right now. And I know that there's some people that are in the grow rooms right now that shout out Coleman. Like I know that he's out there. He's another roller that's over at Lumpy's, and I know
shout
that
out Coleman.
Cody's over there. He's a
shout
roller over there, and everybody that from the main office to the back rooms, like the place is awesome. Like even when you go in there and you see all the trimmers, they even seem to have like smiles on their faces. Like it seems like a great place to work.
Awesome. One thing I was thinking about, and it literally was like my last question that I wrote in here, and I was like, well, duh, that kind of makes sense. Obviously, as a roller, you use your hands a lot.
Yeah.
That's like that's like literally your most important asset is your hands.
Yeah.
Do you have insurance on your hands?
Do I have insurance on my hands, man? I don't even have health insurance, man.
Yeah, but that's America, so shout out to the great U.S. of A.
Yeah, no, I do not have insurance on my hands. Nah.
That's something you can get insured though, right?
You can, yeah. No, because like literally, I had saw a documentary a long time ago that there was like hand models. People that purposely use their hands for modeling, and they dead ass get insurance on their hands because that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
So I thought of it in that way of you as a roller, because obviously as a roller, your hands are your livelihood.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if that was something you had. You know what I mean?
That is a really good idea, but if I was gonna get insurance on anything, I would definitely get some health insurance.
Health insurance.
Yeah. I'm like almost completely deaf out of my right ear. Like,
oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Like sometimes I can hear out of my right ear, most of the time cannot.
What happened?
Tinnitus. No, I know.
Oh, damn.
No, I was about to say, goddamn, I got serious.
Oh, shit.
Like...
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like...
He laughs at your downfall?
No, I'm not laughing at an ailment. I'm just...
No. He's an evil man.
I'm not laughing at an ailment. It's just the shock
Make
factor.
fun of his slanted eyes. You can go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, if you're going to shoot out of a vehicle, make sure all the windows are down.
Oh, okay, for sure. Golly. All right. I'm not going to ask anymore.
I don't know what happened. I can't really hear out of my right ear.
That's terrible.
Yeah, my girlfriend tells me I have selective hearing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I didn't hear when she said it.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So obviously, can you kind of break down, because obviously a professional roller isn't like a lot of people's profession.
Yeah.
So can you kind of break down the pricing for the services you offer? Like if someone was to come up to you and be like, hey, I'm John Doe, I need like you to roll me like 10, 15 of them, some fatties. What would the pricing be for your services?
So if John Doe wanted to get some rolls rolled up, I would definitely give him a deal. Like, let me know. But my pricing normally is in like the hundreds, and so like we'll do like if you wanted to do like a full pound of flour rolls, then we can do like around $6 is like an average for the costs to do like one roll is about $6. If you're gonna add rosin, so you want to do a hash hole, it's gonna raise the price immediately. Is gonna be like $1. If you want it to get a little bit bigger, like let's say you want like a 2 gram times like a 0.5, then you're gonna be looking at like $8. If you want anything bigger, such as you want a 3 gram by like 1 gram fat cannon with like your own sticker and tube and everything like that, with that's probably about $10 to get like a 3 gram by 1 gram in a tube. It's probably gonna be around $10. In fact, we're doing that exact roll right now at my office. So I have a bunch of rollers working at the office right now. Shout out Cisco and Raymond. They're at the office right now, and they're killing it. So
good shit.
So for someone like kind of like we touched on earlier, like for people who love weed so much and they want to do it, like how realistic is it to do this as a profession? Like how realistic would you say on a scale of like 1 to 10?
1? I don't know if it's like a good, like if you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go to school and like I'm gonna go get a degree and I'm gonna roll joints, I wouldn't recommend it. It's really hard to make a living rolling joints as a profession. I was given it took me about 6 months of rolling joints before I was able to start paying bills. And so, well, actually, now that I put it that way, it's not that hard. Actually, now that I think about it, so within 6 months of me doing it, I was paying all the bills with just rolling joints, selling joints. Yeah, it's actually not that hard.
But there's other stuff that comes with it too. Not just along the like. Number one, you got to make sure your shit rolls right, make sure it smokes good, and people will compliment it. But also like one thing I noticed that separates you, and not to cause any kind of strife or whatever, you know, with you in the community. But one thing I noticed that separates you is you're not just pulling up, sitting at a chair. Like there's a certain look you go for, like the clean cut. You've got the bow tie. It's a real luxury kind of roll in the sense of where like, oh man, I'm getting what I paid for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is really a service.
So when you're talking about like the live rolling that I do. Now the live rolling that I do is, I think that with the Lux Rolls and the Lux Roll Bar and the team that I'm around doing these events and like the way that I dress, it's more of an experience. Is that when I show up and with the tux and the rolls and like how everything is all set up, you get like that personal one-on-one experience, like as if you're Snoop Dogg and his personal roller is rolling you like his own personal joint that's just for you. And so having a professional come in and like, because I can get into doors with a tuxedo that just like if I showed up in my hoodie and I just sat there in the corner and was just rolling joints and like giving them out, it's not the same thing as when I show up and I'm like I'm there and I'm like everything's like proper and giving them out. Mm-hmm. It's an experience. It's not the same thing as like I'm just sitting there rolling joints. Yeah. And so for live rolling events, that was something different than my day-to-day job. I think live rolling events is really what I prefer to do. That's like, I love the, like, that experience, and people are just watching you like roll a joint and then you can give it to them. And they're just like, this is like the best joint I've ever had, and they're so excited about it, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna keep this one or something like that. I've signed people's joints, like it just kind of makes you feel good. And so because most of the time I'm just sitting in an office, either rolling or grinding up, using the flour mill just to grind weed all day. It's not as exciting. Like, it's very boring to sit there and just roll joints all day long. It takes a certain type of person to be able to sit there and do that all day long.
What, off the top of your head, what was your most challenging role that you can remember? Whether it was like a specialty one or maybe it was like a super fat one. Like, what would you say if, like, when you were rolling one up, what was at least one of your most challenging ones?
One of my most challenging ones? Well, one that comes to mind that kind of like haunts me to this day. Like, it wasn't like a large roll. It wasn't even like a big one. I was showing somebody how to roll a joint, so I was in Tenerife at one of my favorite clubs, Paradise, Green Paradise. It's one of my favorite clubs. When I go to Tenerife, it's beautiful. There's like a beach view and everything. And I'm showing one of the guys there how to roll this joint with this glass tip and make it tight, and so that the tip doesn't fall out. And after I show it to him, and then I turn it over, and the tip falls right out. Like, the tip was just heavy and it fell out, and I embarrassed the hell out of myself, like right in front of him. And so like, I think that like when you're doing it, like, it doesn't matter if you've done it a million times perfect. If you're showing somebody and then they're like, and that one time it just like it falls out like right there, it's like, oh, that one just like it hurts. Like, yeah. So I think that one of the toughest times is when I rolled a joint for somebody, explaining like how to do something, and then it just fell apart and made me feel pretty sad.
Damn, man. That's like, I'm so good at this, I'm going to teach you.
Yeah.
And then
just can't do it. It's like, here, let me show you how to hammer this nail real quick, and then you just smash your hand, and you're just like, ah.
This is what you don't want to do.
Don't do it like that.
Yeah.
So what is like your step-by-step process to rolling the perfect joint? Can you kind of walk us through that, like your thought process and mental process to go through that? So
the main thing that I tell people is the grind is really important. Everybody at my office uses the flour mills with the number 1 screen size, and so the screen size is actually really important because with these ones you can change out to get to the smallest screen size, and so because you want to have a really fine grind when rolling joints. Sometimes when I am rolling a joint, I will shape it on the paper ahead of time. And so if you can create the shape as like that longer rectangle on there, there's actually like presses, like Haschel presses that have a rectangle shape. And so what I used to do is just shape it on the paper, and then I'll put the tip in after it's been shaped as far as like an even amount of flour down the middle, and I use the tip and the paper, and I pick it up so that the tip and the paper are right here, and then I even it out, and then I will start to rotate and like even like the tightness. Once it's evenly tight across and equally spaced out, I would then try and tighten up on the tip and the paper at the mouthpiece and tuck it. Like gosh, I guess that's kind of tough to explain. And then that tuck, I would use an upward stroke motion to flatten out the paper as it's being like rolled. And then once it's like that, I will try and roll it in my fingers more so that it gets the shape, and use a dab brush, use a cigar glue, Caligar glue stick. I dip that in water and I dry off it. Well, I have to dry it off because when the Caligar glue stick, it gets too wet, and so you don't want to have that first like large drop of water, and so I always like to dab it before I apply it to the paper, because you don't want to make the glue too wet. It'll ruin the joint. And so then I seal it, roll it, and then I will tap the tip of the joint on the table to make sure that the flour is evenly packed again, and then I twist it off.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, man. Because I mean,
I hope that helped. Like that seems like a lot of explanation.
Like for a person that doesn't smoke at all, that's very thoughtful and very, you know, I mean.
Just kind of see how I put the paper. I don't know.
Piece by piece.
You better start rolling joints today.
You're hella disgusting. But no, for a person that doesn't really smoke, that was very, you know what I mean, helps me imagine what it is you're actually doing step by step. And like, I mean, if you're a professional that does that for a living, you know what I mean, that's obviously like, if someone's watching this like, wow, how can I roll my shit better? Well, there you go. You just got some free game right now.
Yeah.
There's like different ways. There's a few different ways of rolling joints, and so the way that I just described is the setup. We call that trap rolling, and so the setup in trap rolling is when you set up the flour in the paper before you do it. There is like production rolling as well. You can have the tip in the paper before you add the flour. There is the old school, when you have it in your hand and you put it in and you roll it middle out. Without the tip in, and then you add the tip at the end.
Yeah, that's how I roll mine. I'll roll, but what I do is I start from right to left, and then I'll add my tip in like post roll.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. But I've always wanted to do it with it in there. I just like the way the finish looks. They're like more circular. They burn more even. Not to say I roll like a shitty joint, but like I can appreciate a good joint.
And so with all of the different ways of rolling, I've always tried to help people roll the way that they naturally roll. Mm-hmm. I try and make it, I just help them out with that technique, because with every technique, you can roll a perfect joint. With each of those techniques, from left to right to left, middle out, you can still roll a perfect joint, just in your own style.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So obviously, I'd imagine you've rolled for a lot of people in your profession.
Yeah.
What have been the most famous or notable people that you can name? Like basically like a Mount Rushmore, if you can give us that, of like the most famous / notable people you have rolled for in your career thus far.
Woody Harrelson, rolling for Woody Harrelson. That was pretty cool.
White men can jump.
Yeah.
Facts.
But even better than that is all three of his brothers.
Oh shit!
So I think it was. So I got pictures with these other people who were at this party. I was like, "Hey man, yeah, I'm his brother," and so I got pictures with all of his brothers, and I was smoking with his brothers at this party. And so not only did I get to smoke with Woody Harrelson, but I got to smoke with some guys that kind of looked like Woody Harrelson, and that was pretty cool too.
Did you take any pictures with Woody?
Yeah.
I need to see those after this episode. I fucking love Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, he's really cool. I met that kid from the Champion movie. You know who was in this basketball movie where a bunch of those kids, and they were like not good at basketball, and then one of those kids was at the party.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the movie he did with like the special ed adults.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Yeah,
that's a good movie.
One of those kids. was at the event. Yeah, I got a picture with him too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Who else, if you don't mind naming off a couple more people?
A couple of basketball stars. I don't really like. Kevin Garnett was the coolest guy that I ever got to smoke with.
Fuck with KG.
Yeah, when KG came around, I actually met him at Lumpy's.
Yeah.
Didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And we went to an after party, and I got to roll for him and his friends at an after party, and then I saw him again like a little bit after that. I got to roll up for him and his friends again, and I don't think that there's anybody that can outsmoke KG.
Really?
I don't think that there are other like NBA stars that claim that I smoke so much weed, or rappers say, oh, I smoke so much weed. Wiz Khalifa, he smokes a lot of weed. Yeah, I see that, but KG, it was only at the end. It was just me and him able to hang, still smoking at the end. There's nobody that was lasting at that party. I've heard stories that like Snoop Dogg and KG could like outsmoke anybody as like a tag team duo. There isn't anybody that can outsmoke those two. Like, I'll put money on that.
What about like Snoop or like what is that one dude? Willie Nelson, or you know what I mean? Have you rolled for any of those guys? Or?
No, I haven't rolled for Willie Nelson yet. I have not.
One day.
Yeah, speak that for you, because Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg are obviously infamous weed heads.
Yeah.
Eddie Lepp. So I don't know if you guys know who Eddie Lepp is, but here's a bit of trivia for you guys. The first hybrid strains of cannabis that were grown in California were grown by Eddie Lepp and Jack Hare. In Northern
Jack
California.
Hare, yeah.
So Eddie brought the seeds from Europe of the indicas that were naturally growing over there, and then brought them to Northern California where sativas were naturally growing, and then he made the first hybrid strains according to him, his girl, or his ex-wife and his ex-wife. They all had the same name, but awesome dude, Eddie Lepp. The reason that we have hybrid strains is because of Eddie Lepp and those like revolutionary stoners like Jack Hare and like Ed Rosenthal and those guys like long time ago. Those are like the reasons that we have so many varieties of cannabis to this day.
Hell yeah. Good shit. Shout out Eddie Lepp, Jack Hare. Yeah. I love that strain, Jack Hare, though. Like the actual strain. Oh my god. A lot of people in the market, they want purple weed because Jack Hare does grow a little bit greener, but like I still like green weed. That shit is so fire, bro.
Do you like the Capital Haze from
Lumpy's? I love it. Yeah.
Capital Haze is my favorite strain by Lumpy's. I get it. It's the one that I go out of my way to get is Capital Haze.
Oh, there you go.
Because I'm a big fan of Jack Terps or like hazy terps. I need that stuff that's going to get me through the day, you know? Like if I can't really be smoking like heavy indicas first thing in the morning. Like I'm not getting a lot done. But I smoke some Jack. Let's go.
Coolin', yeah. I'll be geeked.
That's awesome, though, man. That list you mentioned, that's a dope list of people to have rolled for. Who is the one person that you do for surely, like, I want to knock him off my bucket list, I want to roll for?
Or smoke with.
Or smoke with, yeah. Could be dead or alive.
Who would I really want to?
Dead if, you know what I'm saying?
How am I
going okay, say he came back to life and you would want to roll for.
Just do alive.
Okay, alive only then.
Alive only. Who would I want to smoke with? Gosh, my grandpa. That would be pretty dope. My grandpa, he does not approve of cannabis at all, I think that it would be amazing to be able to smoke with him in this lifetime.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, because it'd be cool to talk to him about like what I do, but he's
just not that type. Yeah.
I visited my grandma and her husband, my step grandpa, I guess you can say. So I was like, hey, do you guys mind if I smoke on the property or whatever? I guess he thought I was smoking a cigarette or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I fire up this, and they're in Nevada, so you know what I mean. But I fire up this joint, and then they're like, he comes over and he's like, Is that cannabis? Is that marijuana? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, bro, if you rather me smoke a cigarette out here than this? I'm like, I think the education is a little bit different based on the generation, but I feel like he would be pretty cool high. You know what I'm saying? But I would definitely like to smoke with someone like of that generation too.
I don't know a lot of famous people right now. If I was thinking about it, like, I mean, Mr. Beast is pretty famous. You guys watching that show right now? That
that he's doing with Amazon? Yeah.
That $5 million prize?
Yeah.
Man, I think there should be some sort of like more like cannabis related games like in videos like that. Like I would love to see some like some big name like prizes in like a cannabis event. Like that'd be dope. Like a $10,000 prize or like $100,000 prize for the best strain in California. I wonder how many people would enter that.
Yeah.
I mean, for my next question, have you been like in a lot of tournaments per se for rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever broken any like records for rolling? Like, do you hold any records, or came close to breaking anything, and you want to break?
So I wanted to make like towers, and so I made like this 2.5 pound water tower for Ileton. Didn't do anything like world record status with that. The biggest world record that I was like at least a part of was the largest blunt. That one was Grasshopper and June Dagoon. They rolled the world's largest blunt, 20 pounds. It was like 20 something pounds. Like it was
Jesus.
It was pretty ridiculous. And then the biggest hot box. I think that 47 seconds as like the fastest who can smoke a gram. At 47 seconds, I thought that was like a record, but I don't know if there's like a real record for it.
Are they allowing cannabis in the Guinness Book of World Record?
No, Guinness is a beer company.
Yeah, Guinness is beer, bro.
Oh, okay, but then, okay,
yeah. They if they had, so we try and keep track of all those records of like the world records for the contest. So the longest joint is like just over 100 feet. And so the biggest joint, it was like some crazy like 47 pounds or some nonsense, right? And so biggest blunt 20 pounds. I've heard rumors that Weavers is making a life size blunt of a person, like a person life size.
Oh shit!
And so we're thinking that that's probably going to be around 15 to 20 pounds of flower as well, depending on how big it is. I'm not sure, but we're trying to keep track of all these records just in case in the future they do have some type of record book for cannabis. I think that it would be a lot of fun to be able to break these records. Like, what's the tallest plant ever grown? Like, what's the tallest cannabis plant? Like, they say that it's over in, like, Afghanistan, and it was, like, 20-something feet tall or something.
Jeez.
Like, something, I don't know. Like, but they have, like, pictures of, but I don't know if that's, like, a real, like...
Yeah.
You know?
It'd have to be modernized. Anyways, yeah.
I'd like to see some actual contests where we can get some records down and like maybe even have like a record book, like who's fastest joint. I've seen somebody roll those joints in like seconds. Like it was already halfway rolled, but I'd like to know what the world's fastest joint is. Like what is that?
You
real
seen
time?
that thing on I think it was Kai Cenat, or Snoop Dogg rolled like a backwood in like 9 seconds or whatever, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? I don't know whose stream he was on, but it was a backwood. Then again, I don't think it was like it smoked. You know what I'm saying? But when I seen the way it looked, because he had to pull it off camera to roll it, because of the terms and conditions and shit of whatever they're streaming on.
No.
And then, but he had like weed in there, obviously, and then rolled it up, and it didn't look great, but it smoked. And I was like, damn, but 9 seconds though, that's fucking fast.
That's faster than I can roll a joint. I cannot roll a joint in 9 seconds. I think that when we were at the last event where all of the Lux rollers were there, it was all under a minute that we did it, and I think mine was like 20-something seconds.
Yeah, that's still fast as fuck. And probably, but what I'm saying is also yours is probably a lot more proper. No shade to Snoop. I'm just saying his shit looked kind of fucked up. That's why I said it smoked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was leaf.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's kind of tough to roll like a good looking leaf in 9 seconds. That would be
yeah, absolutely. Same way they do with cigars. It's just
table
type
roll.
shit. Yep.
Yeah.
Have you participated in rolling competitions, and if so, how many have you won?
So I was the Emerald Cup joint rolling champion in like 2020, and then they haven't had that contest since, and so the California's Finest, I've won that. I got 5 of those trophies on my shelf.
Good shit.
I have the Munch and Roll Cup from last year's Cannabis. I won that one. The Secret Sesh, I got second to my buddy Tony, rest in peace. Then I got, what else did I get? I don't know. I think that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious, 'cause, you know, I mean, I know you said before we started that you're not really a super competitive person, but obviously there's going to be times where you're going to be put in a position to compete against other people.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see how many you had won or participated in at least.
Yeah.
In those moments, he's dominating.
Yeah. Well, and there's times where, you know, you got to be competitive in the moment where it's just like, you know, I want to win this. Like,
right.
I want to win this. Like, even when I went head to head with my buddy Jake Rolls in the Proper Smoke League, like, even both me and him before the event, like, we're both talking about, like, what ratios that we're going to be using and, like, what tips we're going to be using. You know, we weren't really, like, competitive, you know? Like, we both wanted to do really well. Like, and I wanted to beat him, and he wanted to beat me, but we just both really wanted to do well. So we weren't really going to be, like fighting about it or like upset or like it's tough. Like even like when I got into the grappling match with Adam, so like me and Adam did like a tap out match in Vegas, and like we had to like, you know, fight each other, and it's tough because like we both like each other. It's like we don't want to like be like a dick about it. Like it's even tough. Like even fighting, it was tough to get competitive with these guys because like we're all in the community together.
Right.
I was gonna say, how does that all? I mean, like you're smoking weed, like you got to be fairly peaceful, I guess, in these competitions. But like, have you seen it get to a point at a competition where two rollers are fucking like they're like, hey, nah, fuck you, like you know what I'm saying? Like
they
it's
don't fuck
go
with each
up?
other type shit.
You ain't gotta give names. What I'm saying, like, has there been instances?
You can just say yes or no.
Yeah, where it's like we're like, oh, because like, does that shit go down, or are they just like, hey, dude? I appreciate that.
There's been some comments that other rollers have made about other rollers where it's just like, hey, like, fuck that guy then. Like we just kind of keep it to ourselves. It's like, hey, like there's some rollers out there that want to put other people up. There's some rollers out there that just want to put other people down. Yeah. And so it's like, well.
Yep. That's everywhere.
If you're not staying positive, you're not really part of the group. Mm-hmm. Like try and keep it positive. You can stick around, but. The people that are not around anymore, there was a reason. Yeah, you know?
Absolutely.
So, what motivates you to innovate both as a businessman and as a roller?
My desire to not have a real job is very motivating for me. I want to have the best products out there because not really. I work more now than I ever have. I'm 12-hour plus days is like a normal thing for me now. What really motivates me is because I'm sick of shitty pre-rolls. I'm really sick of pre-rolls that I don't trust. I'm real sick of shake in pre-rolls. I don't trust people to give me a good product when I buy a joint. It's the strangest thing, but everybody likes pre-rolls, but it's really tough to trust them when you crack them open and there's shake inside of them. And so I've always wanted to put out a better pre-roll, and I always wanted to have the best pre-roll that you could have out there.
I've cracked open some fucking shitty ones, bro. I don't like. Joe, I know you. Right now. Oh, you want me to?
Yeah.
Are we finna go crazy? I can't do it. Not with all this on the table. I'm not gonna cause strife. What I'm saying though is I've definitely cracked open some that are just horrible, bro. But those are those ones that like you're getting for free. You know what I'm saying? Or it's coming with like some type of promo or whatever the case may be. But
so it's just not purely out of pocket.
No, hell no, bro. It's like that shit fucking sucks because. As a consumer, you're smoking it, and you're like, you know, obviously I have the objective of getting high, but it's just shitty weed. It tastes bad the whole time. It's peppery from the beginning. Even the greens are horrible.
I was in my office after an event, and I was going through all the pre-rolls that I'd get like in my bag, you know, and it was a blank tube. Opened it up, paper tip. Didn't trust it already. I cut it open because I cut open every single joint that it has like a paper tip just so I can see what's inside. If it's good, I can re-roll it. I've never re-rolled it. I cut it open, and there's a lemon seed inside of the joint.
What?
And you think, that's not possible. How did that happen?
Exactly.
And so I had to take a picture and a video of, like, as soon as I cut it, I stopped what I was doing, and I started, like, filming, like, hey, look at this. That's a lemon seed. Like, there was a some type of citrus seed inside of the pre-roll.
That's crazy.
How does
that happen?
How does that happen?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of stuff that it's like, how could you let this happen? Like, you don't care. Like, there's no people don't care about their pre-rolls anymore. Like, they just want to get it cheap and fast, and then you get lemon seeds.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that thing. Like, there's an old commercial that I always hear. Oh, I could have got a lemon. And then you got to go to like down to orange, so you don't get a lemon. I don't know. Some car dealership in Orange County. And you could literally get a lemon seed in one of your joints. It's like, what the fuck?
You know what that reminds me of is like if they. I was thinking, I was like, maybe they did it for weight, the same way like if you recycle and you have cans, just throw a rock in every other can.
So
that's just
we were thinking terrible. That maybe it was for to keep the bag fresher. Sometimes people put like orange peels.
Orange peels, yeah.
In like
or tortillas.
Yeah, and so maybe that they threw a lemon.
Like a whole
lemon.
That's horrible.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's just honestly.
Isn't that how you get those Jack Terps?
Wow.
What is your favorite thing about the cannabis culture?
My favorite thing about the cannabis culture, everybody that I've worked with in this industry and like in my community seems to be really happy. They're positive people. They like what they do. I think that everybody's here because of the love of this plant, and we have so much in common because of that plant. Whether it's like you're working in like you just make rolling papers, or you just grow, or you just sell like the nutrients for the plant. We're all connected because of this plant, and I feel like we all have something in common. I like that. I feel like I'm a part of like a community. Like, I'm really like, we're all fans of this, and we all have something in common that we all like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. So one last thing, and then we're gonna allow you time to promote whatever you got going on. So you can take as much time as you get to that when we get to that point. But last question that I have is, where do you see you and your business Luxury Rolls within the next 5 years?
Within the next 5 years, I would like to be in half of the stores in California, if not all of them, for my new pre-rolls that are going to be coming out. I would like to see me travel to all of the legal states that allows cannabis, so that I can set up like maybe help set up the Roll University and in different states and teach people how to roll good joints. I would like to I'd like to see different countries, maybe a new country every year. That would be great. I haven't been to Thailand yet. I haven't been to Switzerland yet. I'd like to see what the cannabis scene is like in Switzerland. I got some friends out there that have been telling me good things, and so yeah. I'd like to take a train across to America. Like, I don't know, maybe America's not the best country to take a train across. Maybe take a train like up and down Europe or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Europe.
Yeah,
Europe is probably
I've seen some like beautiful like videos of people like, you know, like on these trains, and they're like in these like travel cars, and you're just looking out the window and there's like all these mountains and trees and like lakes and shit. I'm like, oh man, I want to see that.
That's badass.
I'd like to see some more stuff the next 5 years.
And then what about the company you're part of, Luxury Rolls? What about them? Where do you see
Lux
the
Rolls.
progress for Lux Rolls?
Yeah, so the Lux Roll Bar, I believe that the transition from these private parties to major events, I'd like to see us at more weddings. I think that the Lux Roll Bar with the Grasshopper doing weddings, when she did this amazing wedding down in LA. I've done some weddings for some different celebrities, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoy. I think that Lux Rolls and the Lux Roll University. I think that the Roll University that Hapa is setting up right now for teaching classes and having like an online portal to help people, learn about. Oh, we got a helicopter coming over.
Yeah.
Everybody get down.
Yeah.
Just don't move.
You're looking for short, fat Filipinos. Oh shit.
But I think that Lux Rolls is going to be selling a lot more of these the pre-rolls and like the rolls like this guy, and so like I don't know if you can this is just tobacco, so it's not like.
Oh yeah, no, you should be good then. Yeah,
it's not physical form, so you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
And so like they make they're these how do you say, they're like these glass tipped like, and so when they come, they're already like pre-made. And so I think that these are going to really take off as like a better pre-roll than the wimpy like paper tip ones. I think that Lux Rolls is going to go far. Like Hapa is amazing, and we're going to be selling more tips and more glass tip cones and more classes and more events. Like that's the future, I think.
One last thing. Your thing is that you dress up. Right, you're buttoned up. You have the tie. You look very professional. You got to come over, which is dope. I love it.
Thank you.
When people think of rolling and weed in general, their first guess wouldn't be someone who dresses up in a suit and tie. No. Where did that come from?
So the idea behind the suit and like the tie and like everything, it escalated from the first Hall of Flowers that we went to. I did a Hall of Flowers for like maybe 2020, I think it was. And it was just plain. We had like T-shirts on that were all matching, and we kind of looked like other brands. When I saw like Lux, and then we kind of took it to like another level of like luxury, like I wanted to be like fancy. And so like if we were to show up and just like extra fancy, like suits and like ties, I think that it would be like a vibe. I really like the way that it looks, and I tried it. It stuck. Like I used to sell cars, and so like wearing a suit, like people will treat you differently when you're wearing a suit. When you're wearing a straight up tuxedo, people are gonna treat you a little bit differently. They're gonna wonder every single time, why are you dressed like this? Like what are you doing? Like what's going on? Because whenever you show up like that, it's a special event. Like it's always a special event. Why is somebody dressed in a tuxedo? And so whenever I show up at these events, I'm trying to make it a more special event. This is like a higher class type of feel. When you see like the Lux Roll Bar, you see me standing there, like Ty, you're like, what's going on? Like I really want to know. Like, and so you just roll joints? Like, what do you do? Like, yeah. Here you go.
Yeah, it's a conversational piece. People are gonna remember you because it's how much you
put into it.
Yeah.
You know, dry cleaning and a nice suit, and it's people will treat you a little bit differently when you show up someplace instead of when I'm wearing like like my normal clothes, like my hoodie, and you're just rolling joints at a table. It's not as exciting as when you're like, hey, I got a joint rolled by a guy in a bow tie, and like I got
it's an experience for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was the strangest thing. Like it didn't make any sense, but like he just rolled me a joint. It's amazing. Like, it's an experience that people will remember.
Yeah, no, that ass. Because like I said, first time I met you, I literally was like, hey, bro, there's a dude up there with a fucking bow tie barring these shits up, dog. And I'm high as shit. So, that's good shit, bro. But then I feel like it's like, almost like to see you in regular clothes is just almost kind of weird now. People are probably so used to seeing you in the bow tie that it's like, like when you find out teachers actually go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Pull the curtain back a little bit.
What the fuck are you doing not in a tuxedo? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's hella funny.
That was just funny. I wanted to point that out too because it's like last night you had messaged me like, hey bro, like I need to get my suit ready, and I kind of looked at my phone like, you don't need to get like. I was like, you going somewhere? And they were like, no, for the episode. I was like, oh, you can wear whatever you want. I was like, but hey, if you want to, that's on you. But for us, we're obviously not, in suits and shit. So yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up because I think that's awesome. That's like your thing that makes you stand out.
Yeah, because people won't recognize me when I'm not wearing the suit. Like I'll go places and I'll be talking to people like I know this person. I've seen this person at events a bunch of times, and they just didn't recognize me at first, and they're like, oh wait. I didn't recognize you without the suit.
I know,
It's like you pull a bow tie out of your back pocket. Now do you remember me?
Yeah,
exactly. It's like changing to Superman or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Clark Kent takes off his gloves.
You gotta have a bow tie tattooed
last week.
He's got a bow tie tattooed right here. He's like, you remember
recognize
now?
me now?
You remember now?
That's hella funny. Before we let him promote, did you have anything personally you wanted to ask him? Because I know you interact with him at events and shit a lot.
No, for sure. I mean, like I said, bro, again, thank you for being on, bro. We really appreciate you. I love the way you roll. I love your joints. You know what I'm saying? Whatever flower you put in them. I was harping big on this with him personally. I was just saying, bro, we got to get bro on. I really think you're a cool guy. I fuck with the weed. Obviously, from you having on, shout out to Lumpy's Flowers. We were able to have them sponsor this episode. So, again, shout out to those guys over there. But, I mean, no, just want to give you your flowers, bro. I think you're doing great. I love that you're super active in the community. Shout out to you for winning trophies. I've been there and watched you accept multiple of them. So, good shit, bro.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was really excited, man, because it's like, it's different. You know what I mean? Because, like, obviously, when
you don't smoke weed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I'm talking about in terms of the interview itself.
I know,
like,
but I'm saying that's why it's interesting.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, because, like, it's very different, like, when you're talking about people who go on platforms and talk about their careers or whatever it is they do. Like, I don't think a lot of platforms can be like, yeah, I had a professional roller on my shit.
Yeah.
And when he brought it up to me, I was like, hell yeah, bro. I don't smoke for shit. But, like, that's something that gets me excited to write these questions and, like, have this conversation because it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Razor scooters to porn to pre-rolls.
Bro, when I heard the razor scooters and the porn part, I'm like, oh, bro, this made this conversation that much more exciting.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is like the, remember those beer commercials where he was like the most interesting man? It's like the weed roller version right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this guy's over here escaped being a hostage. You know what I'm saying?
Escape being a hostage. Oh
like, been a porn editor. Like, this dude's wild right now, and I love it. But yeah, bro, if you want to take as much time as you want, the next 5 to 10 minutes to promote anything you got going on for the rest of this year, you can go ahead and do that, my guy.
Yeah, man. Shout out Flower Mill. They just sent me over the newest edition. I'm pretty excited. I use the number 1 screen size. I don't know if everybody already knows that or not. But yeah, and they also has it changes the colors. Shout out Yerba Mate. I've been contacting headquarters about Yerba Mate. We're trying to get some yerbs in the office, and so I told me because we work at a big office, and so we got a lot of workers, and we all drink Yerba Mate, and so how can we get some of this in our office? So that's what I've been working on these last couple of days.
Good shit.
My pre-rolls are coming out. I'm really excited about it. I've been working with a lot of good partners and getting out the new like Bruno's rolls. They're going to be infused and non-infused versions of the Lux rolls. They're amazing. I'm a big fan, and so the whole thing about like no sticks, no stems, and no lemon seeds. I mean, I guess I should add that.
Heavy on the lemon seeds.
Yeah, there's no lemon seeds or no like sticks or stems because every single one of them is hand destemmed, and so I think that having it all broken down by hand is a really important part of making sure that you know what's inside of your product. And so all of my pre-rolls will be broken down by hand.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And also, shout out to Lumpy's and all the team at Lumpy's. Keep up the great work. And please make some more Capital Haze for me.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it. And let me know when you guys want to get some of those infused rolls over at Lumpy's. I'd be happy to help.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, man. Again, man, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your time with us, man. We really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this episode. Episode 16, man, so time's flying by for us right now. Shout out to my sister Rosanna with the camera work in the back. Let's clap it up for her. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Shout out to my co-host, man. I really enjoyed this episode. It was a great episode. And give it up for our main event individual right here, Mr. Bruno Rolls, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today is the Saturday, January 25th, episode 16. Today we have episode 17, February 15th, so the day after Valentine's Day, with Noodle Knocker TV. He does comedy sketches. He has a big following on Instagram, so we're excited to have a Shits and Giggles episode that day with him. That's going to be, the plan is to have that live at noon, like we tend to do for the most part. So tune into that. We'll have promotions and all that coming up when it gets closer to that. But thank you again, man. I appreciate you and your time. This was episode 16 of Ignorant Shit Only Podcast, and I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Thank you.
That's great. Oh, good. Hell yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, didn't a dude get fined for doing this?
Possibly.